Hey everyone, welcome back. Get ready, because today we're going deep on a story.
That's right.
It's an incredible story. Heartbreaking, but really inspiring too.
Definitely both of those things.
We're talking about Iwao Hakamata.
Hakamata.
He spent 56
Wow.
years on death row in Japan.
That's almost impossible to imagine.
It is. But then, just this year, 2024,
Finally.
he was acquitted.
A long time coming.
It is. And his story is really intertwined with his sister's,
Hideko.
and her unbelievable fight to get justice for her brother.
Unbelievable is right. Over half a century.
Half a century? Just imagine dedicating your life to that, to proving your brother is innocent, to fighting a system that seems impossible to beat. We're going to unpack all of it.
All the way back to the beginning.
Back to 1968, a murder at a noodle shop.
That's where it all started.
That's where their lives changed forever.
This case really highlights something I think a lot of people don't realize about the Japanese justice system.
What's that?
It has a 99.9% conviction rate.
99.9%.
You heard that right.
It's got to be one of the highest in the world.
It is.
But is that a good thing?
Well, on the surface, it might seem like it, but when you dig deeper,
What do you find?
that kind of conviction rate can actually work against people
Else?
because it can create this huge pressure to get convictions, maybe even more pressure than to actually find the truth.
So it's more about closing cases than it is about justice.
It can be, sometimes. And there's another cultural element at play, too.
What's that?
In Japan, confession is a really, really big deal.
Okay.
It's seen as a way to show you feel remorse, that you're taking responsibility. And that, combined with the pressure on law enforcement to solve cases quickly.
It can lead to people confessing even if they didn't do it.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Iwao.
Let's do it.
He was arrested in 68,
Right.
convicted the next year,
For the murder of 4 people at a noodle shop.
a family, the shop owners and their 2 daughters.
Brutal.
But the evidence against him,
It wasn't exactly a slam dunk.
well, like circumstantial,
A lot of it hinged on this confession he gave.
which she later said was forced.
Coerced. But that's the thing about the Japanese justice system.
It's hard to prove that.
Really hard.
So enter Hideko.
Iwao's sister.
She just refuses to accept this verdict. And she spends the next, how many years was it?
56 years?
56 years fighting for him. Talk about a devoted sibling.
It's incredible. And she didn't just show up and say, hey, my brother's innocent. She went all in.
Became an expert herself.
She did. Learned everything about the case.
Hi.
Pored over the court documents, met with all the lawyers. She even taught herself English.
No way.
Yeah, to raise awareness internationally. Think about that.
It's remarkable. So she's taking on the system. 56 years, the odds totally stacked against her. What were some of the toughest things she had to deal with?
Well, the Japanese legal system is, it's very rigid,
Meaning what?
meaning it's really hard to appeal a conviction.
So once you're convicted,
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much it.
Pretty much. It's super tough to bring in new evidence, even to challenge the evidence they already have.
Oh, man. And can you imagine the emotional toll?
I can't even fathom it.
All those years, visiting your brother on death row,
Not knowing if it'll be the last time you see him.
agonizing. And she's also fighting this legal battle, hitting all these roadblocks.
Setback after setback.
Must have been crushing.
Absolutely, but she kept going. Never gave up. She always believed he was innocent.
And in the end,
She was right.
she was. 2024.
After 5 decades.
5 decades. Iwao is acquitted.
And released. What a moment. Can you imagine?
It's hard to put into words. Remember how we talked about the conviction rate?
Like 99.9%.
Overturning a conviction in Japan is incredibly rare.
So this is a landmark case.
Absolutely. But it also makes you think.
About all that lost time,
56 years.
gone. And he was innocent.
Makes you wonder about the price of justice delayed.
It's heartbreaking, and it raises some big questions about the death penalty, doesn't it?
Huge questions.
What if he had been executed? Then they would have killed an innocent man.
And then acquitted him.
It's chilling.
It is. Iwao's case shows just how flawed these systems can be.
And the death penalty.
You can't undo that. But in the middle of all this, you have Hideko.
Her strength.
Her perseverance. It's amazing,
It's more than amazing. It shows that fighting for justice is important.
even when it seems impossible.
Even then, Iwao and Hideko's story is a testament to that.
It is. So we've learned about Iwao and Hideko Hakamata.
Their long fight for justice.
We've seen how a legal system can be flawed.
And the human cost of that.
We've talked about the death penalty.
And the ethics of it.
But most of all, I think this story shows us the power of
Family,
the importance of never giving up.
even when the odds are stacked against you.
It's a powerful story, and it leaves us with a lot to consider.
How can we balance a need for justice with protecting people's rights? How do we make sure we're not sacrificing compassion in the pursuit of justice?
Big questions. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the incredible story of Iwao and Hideko Hakamata.
A story we won't soon forget.
We'll see you next time.